What's up? Vegan savages. AKA. I don't know. You don't like vegan savages?
You created this in your mind.
Because I like vegan savages.
I love whoever those people are.
Because but what is a vegan savage? Let's clarify that, because everything I speak, and when you get that being awake, embodied, like I'm a vegan savage, and my friends are vegan savages, and it's just a word, and I don't need to use it. But what do other people say? They often say my community or my fans, and this is for me so unpersonal. So I love a word that makes it more personal. And also fans, for example, like many people who are listening, they're not fans. Because fans, comes from, I think, fanatic. And no, I don't want fans. I could say, good morning, masters. Because we are masters, and all we're teaching is that you become a master, that you're a god. How about that? Good morning, vegan savage masters. No. Good morning. And, or how we could also start the podcast is, we ask each other, how do we feel in our bodies, and ask the listeners that they also ask themselves. And if you don't feel good in your body, what could you change now? Because you can always feel good in your body. So how do you feel in your body?
Good. I feel really excited about our road trip tomorrow. And so my body's like, and then also my brain is kind of like checking off all the things to do before we go. And then just loving Afro. I love her so much.
How much?
So much.
What does it mean?
Whenever I see her, I just get this like warm feeling in my chest. And I'm like, I don't have children, but I feel like it's the closest thing to what a child is.
If you don't know who Afro is and you're not watching visually, then watch visually and you see it's a baby dragon.
Baby dragon.
Will you ask me how I feel in my body?
Yes, baby. How do you feel in your body?
This was the first time I asked you to ask me, and you ask me all the time. I feel really good. So, and now ask yourself, how do you feel in your body? And if you don't feel so good, change it that you feel good.
Well, if you don't feel so good, I invite you to take a deep breath. And accept and allow everything that you feel.
And often we can change things. Maybe we should close this door. Change. You know your body best, or get to know your body best, because only your body tells you. So and it's trying to communicate with you. It's your higher self that is giving you signs, and listen and tune in. And many people don't even know how good they can feel in their body. They just think this is normal, but you can feel so good in your body.
Yeah, we basically feel like we're on acid all the time now.
All the time. And
if
then
you don't know, if you've never taken acid, imagine your happiest day of your life, and then that's just happening every day. Mm-hmm. That's how it feels.
And then you get so good at taking care of your body. Like today, I tuned in and I was really feeling good and energized in the morning. So I'm so excited to go to the gym and move, but move in a way that feels good in my body all the way. And then it's so rewarding, and you have this constant high. And then, like, really giving yourself full permission to rest. Like, the last days I was resting so much. And then my body rewards me so greatly. Okay.
Afro's snoring.
Why is she doing that?
Because she's so cute.
Because she wants attention. Okay. First thing, let's talk about... I don't have my phone because I'm recording with my phone, but it's DM. Are we monogamous? I had this DM in my Insta story. Do you remember it?
Yeah, it was basically people saying, you say you're chosen and free, but it seems like now you guys are only with each other. You're monogamous. So are you actually still following what we said in that one podcast where we were like, we're chosen and free. We can do whatever we want.
And you wanted me to start with that because you had a strong opinion about it. So would you share it?
Yes. So Faraday has never heard this from me yet. For me, it's about when you come into complete authenticity, when you come into a complete version of yourself, your standards of who you want to be with rise to be that you want to be with someone who is also a complete version of themselves. And for me, it was very hard to find these people. And so what I ended up doing, you know, you get lonely after every once in a while. And so you end up lowering your standards sometimes, and you end up being with people who aren't all the way themselves. And then it drains you because they just naturally want to learn from you in different ways. And so when we found each other, it was like so refreshing to be with someone who is completely all the way themselves. And for me, like, that's like such a new standard, is to have, like, to be in a relationship where we are both completely ourselves, and to have that vibration going back and forth. And then to, when we interact with other people, like, I have someone coming to the island soon who in the past I've been with in a romantic relationship. I'm very close with him. He's basically like part of he is my soul family. Will I ever be romantic with him again? I don't know. But because it's something where it's like the vibration that you and I have is so high that if someone else wants to come into that situation, we have that opportunity, both of us. But for me, my standard is so much higher of who I will want to connect with in that level. And yeah, what do you think about that?
Exactly. that's just
That's it. That's all you have to say.
I mean, that's kind of always the case. We're so on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
We are twin flames. If you don't know what it means, in short, it's kind of one soul split in two. Yeah, we're both individuals, but we are one but individuals at the same time, and coming to a place not of lack where we complete each other, but from completeness, and then coming together to celebrate the abundance. And then when we are together, it's like when Bashar makes these high movements with his hands, it's vibrating so high, back and forth, the energy going back and forth, so that it's that this is what I want, and then this is my measure pole. Mm-hmm. Connection can be like that, and then, but you know, everything changes. So we are that, and our state of being, our frequency rises. Mm-hmm. And then I interact with other people, and then this gap is so big, and then I'm like, okay, I prefer being in our energy bubble and not in this unhealthy way where we obsess about each other, need each other, but of a place of abundance and want and freedom. So yeah, we are free and chosen. And I love that, and I always want to come from that place, that we are free to choose each other every day. And we might choose each other for the rest of eternity and don't choose anyone else, but we always feel free to choose that, and not of a place of we must, or we are needy, or we're desperate. No, because we found our authentic self. We are complete in ourselves. We have our own connection to our higher selves, and when we're together, it's our higher selves talking, making love, whatever we're doing, and this feels so wholesome. But it's always of this place of freedom, and we all are really so cool that do that. But we are it's our highest excitement to do most things together. Mm-hmm. And then it's often that we're not planning to, but then at the end of the day, we spend the entire day together because it's our highest excitement. But at any point, you can go. It's not, oh no, please stay, I want you to. No, it's
out of abundance.
It's out of abundance. Yeah. And that's why, we're free and chosen. But if you find, and I didn't know that this love exists. I didn't know that love can go so deep. And now, of course, this is all I want. This is, and it's so nice because it's 100% mutual. Because often people, it's one loves the other one more than the other one, or is growing at a faster spiritual, conscious rate, however you want to call it, and then is outgrowing the other, and then they're breaking up. But if you're mutual, if you're on the same level, and if you're growing together, this is everything. The discovery with the right company is everything. When we go exactly in the same direction and we don't outgrow each other, we grow together, and together, that's home. That's we arrived. But it's always from this place of we are free, we are free, we are free. And this feels so good in our bodies, and it feels so good to be free, but to choose. I can, like, I'm free, but this you are what I want. That choosing someone else wouldn't feel good in my body at all. And this just feels so good. Yeah, I just said exactly the same, just using other words.
Yeah, I feel like when I look at like what is fulfilling for me in a relationship, I'm always within myself, outside of a partnership with someone else. I'm always growing. And so when I'm in a relationship with someone, I want to continue growing. That's one of the major reasons why I've broken up with people in the past, was because I felt I wasn't growing anymore and I was stagnant and stuck, like spiritually. Like I want to grow my consciousness. So the fact that you and I can hold space for each other and mirror each other, we're always reminding each other of things that we already said. Like, you know, I'll say something to you sometimes out loud, like, I just want to say this out loud because I'm going through this thing and I was really good at doing this last week, like setting my boundaries, but this week I need some support on this. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to remind you to set your boundaries. And then through that, we support each other in the growth that we already wanted individually. So like I set my own growth pattern and my own rate, and then you help support me on that. And then I help support you. And I love that because it means that we can individually grow, and then we can also grow as a couple. And then when I look at other people outside of our relationship, I'm like, it's just not as interesting to me, because I'm like, are we growing? Like, what are we even doing here? Yeah, maybe you're hot and we can like make out or something, but we have such a good sex life also. And so it's like
the best. Listen to our last episode. Wow.
Yeah, it's like so fulfilling already on that angle, that
fulfilling our soul, which is everything. Like, fuck that surface shit. It's just a paper dream. Build it into a decent chat and lass es fliegen.
If people have never experienced how it is to have a spiritual connection during sex, they might not even understand what we're talking about. Yep. But for us, like you and I individually have already experienced a lot of like physical pleasure with sex, and then to have that already as a foundation of like, okay, I know how it should feel physically, but then to add on like the spiritual level and then mix them together. And yeah, there's just a lot of fun happening there. And then I look at someone else that I'm like, okay, this person's coming to the island. I love him. Like we've had a relationship in the past. I have a soul connection with him, but like, can I grow with him? Is it going to be this deep section? I'm like, no, I know the answer to that already. And also it's still nice to be free enough to allow my body to meet that person and see how it is, and then talk to you about it. And like, we keep growing through all of this together.
Mm-hmm. And you were ahead of that. You already kind of saw the timeline of us, but I was still being in the end of my Peter Pan phase and experiencing what I've been there and I've done that, and it doesn't fulfill me. So I, like the play party, like I've experienced it even another time to see, no, this is just nice, but it's not fulfilling my soul at all. Physical attractions are common as fuck, but spiritual connections are rare. What are you looking for?
You see, it was, it's under your leg.
Sorry.
Yeah,
and
so that's what I want to talk about. Like, if people are asking, are we actually free and chosen? And you and I both have this happen where we're out in public and someone will come up to one of us and be like, hey, and then this is kind of what I was talking to you about yesterday. I'm like, you know, this person, we were out in public. I know this woman is interested in you, but there's still a part of me that's like, I don't think the rest of the world knows how to interact with us.
Yes.
Because they're not sure what that means to be free and chosen. Because for other people, being in a quote unquote open relationship means that they are, you know, with each other as almost as friends, but like in every other sense of the world, they're completely independent. And we're like, hey, we're connected, but we're also individuals. And I just find it really weird when like I see people not understand that, and then they come up and like, it's hard to put this into words, but it's like, it's almost like they hit on one of us, like flirt with one of us in front of the other person. And I'm like, but then how would I want them to react? Like, how would you want a guy to interact with me in front of you? I guess that's my question. Because for me, seeing a woman come up to you and like hit on you, I'm like, that feels disrespectful to me. Like, I'm like, at least check in with me and see how I feel. And I think maybe they're just kind of testing the boundaries of like how we are together, or they're like, oh, they said they're free, so I'm just going to go for it. I'm like, but I would never do that. I've been in so many situations where I can tell, like someone's in a coupleship and I can tell the guy's into me, but I would never initiate, like as the outside woman, I would never initiate flirting with someone. And for most of my life, because of who I am and how I look, people always assume that I'm like coming on to men, even when I'm just literally not talking or not doing anything, but just because of my sexual vibe or whatever, they're just like, you're coming on to my boyfriend. So I've had so many situations, but it's mostly because their boyfriend was into me. And then I'm like, no matter what I do, I can literally...
Threatened.
Yeah, they're feeling threatened. I'm like, I could wear a cape over my head and you would still say the same thing because it's a vibe. It's not even...
It's their fears because they see how attractive you are, because what is attractive is your vibe, and and everyone can feel it. You cannot fake it, and then they feel so threatened. But
how would you want a guy? Because I find this really interesting that there's still to this day has not been a man in my vortex yet around you that I'm actually interested in. So how this is going to happen at some point?
I'm not gonna manifest that. Because I'm not ready. I'm gonna get so... Just kidding.
But really? Let's be real.
Okay. So, yeah, and always real. Not good vibes only, real vibes only.
Okay,
and
babe,
often when we talk about like our relationship, it sounds like we have zero challenges, but everyone has challenges, and challenges are great because we wanna grow, expand. And here's a challenge that I have that came up this morning. Or yesterday evening, and I thought about it this morning, that my challenge is that I'm not loving you in a way that is unhealthy, because I love you so much, so much, like all we said about yes, yes, yes. But I love you so much, I didn't know how fucking deep love can go, that I'm like checking myself, don't get where it's unhealthy. Meaning that I like, tell me what you love and I tell you what you're afraid of. You're afraid of losing what you love. And I love you, like I don't want to, that, like in Star Wars, when Luke Skywalker had these dreams of the future where he lost her and then he turned to the dark side because there you can resurrect, like, I'm not going to let this happen. And then he turned darker and darker and then he actually killed her. Like, this is unhealthy love. And I don't want to have this, that I'm being afraid of losing her, like this, I don't know, overprotective or something, which I'm not. I'm just observing it. Or, I'm just so not the type to be jealous. It's not jealousy at all. It's not jealousy at all, but it's this feeling of, when you tell me these things, I'm like, do these people even deserve you? It's this. And then, not talking bad to these people, like, I love everyone, but I see you more, I know you and I see you more than anyone, and then it's this, do they even deserve you? And that's why, like, I'm so zero excited to flow with other women, because you deserve me, and that feels like that would put away from, that would be a disgrace to you. And in a zero judgmental anything way, but it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I felt at the play party.
Yes.
It's not against any of these women. It's just like, I'm like, because anything I say right now, I feel like it's going to be a little judgmental sounding. But in my opinion, they were not completely their authentic selves, those women that you were engaging with. And so this is the standard that I have. So I'm like, when either of us interacts with someone else who's not their complete authentic selves, I feel like those people feed off of our energy. And again, all this is going to sound weird, but it's not something that's adding energy into our relationship. Yes. It's taking away energy. And so, like, for instance, if there was a woman where I'm like, she is her complete authentic self, I respect her, she's fucking badass, and you guys have an amazing connection and you have fun and you're playing and it helps you grow in some way, or you just have a good time, then I'm like, yeah, go for it, and like tell me how it is afterwards. And I would want the same for me. Like if there's a man who's like completely honors me, is amazing, you know, I feel really good around him in my body, and it's something that nourishes me and adds energy into my life, and I can bring that energy back into our relationship, then it's like more pleasure and more fun. And I would want you to support that. But I don't where are these people?
And that's what you said earlier. How should they interact with us? Like they don't know how, and then like how should they know? Because again, it can sound so judgmental, but what we have, most people have never experienced that level of connection. And then how should they get that level and know then how to interact?
Well, I mean, we got to that on our own before we met each other.
Yes, but that's why it strikes me so. Like, how do most people create?
Like if Beyonce and you got together, I would be like, go for that. Like Beyonce is fucking amazing. I honor and respect her.
And here's how I want us to, as you kind of, I think you already said it, just me again saying other words to emphasize it, that you find someone, I find someone, and then, like, for example, at this one aesthetic dance, there was someone I liked, and you also came to the bathroom, and I was talking to her, and the first thing I was like, introducing you to, like this, like, hey, I really like her, she's such a nice soul, hey, this is Brittnee, my girlfriend, my love, and introduce you, and make sure, like, I choose you, you come first, you are my queen, and we are this team, and I wanna, because we are one, if you or if I like someone a lot, then the other one is gonna like him or her too, and then I want that what we have, that it uplifts that, all, and it needs to be mutual on all sides, and not create this where it's going backwards in any direction.
Yeah, it creates more connection.
Yes.
Not disconnection.
And so introducing the other and seeing how they like him or her, and then only if it feels good for the other, then I would only feel good. So yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like I asked you a very direct question earlier, and then you got very philosophical. So I'm going to rephrase it.
Okay.
If a guy that I liked came into my life, how would you feel about it?
Again, it sounds weird, but jealousy is not in my program. It's this, I know I'm complete. I don't need you. I love you more than anything. If you experience love, I experience love, and it's so easy to say, and it's so challenging to actually be like that. But for me, it honestly is. The thing is, it's this. I would like check their vibe. Do they even deserve you, or do they want to suck on your strong ass connection to source, which everyone can see, which cannot be faked? And then do they deserve that, or do they then just get you in their things and suck on it, and then you are trained, and then you lower your frequency, and like this is the thing.
Okay, I think I'm done with this. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I talked about challenges that you have some challenges, like
between us.
Or doesn't matter.
What do you mean? I'm
yeah.
happy to answer it.
Yeah, that this just when I answered that, it was like, yeah, this is a good because when we talk about our relationship, it seems so perfect, which it is. But we all experience challenges, and getting that we want challenges, that life without challenges.
So you're asking me if I have any challenges?
Yeah, like that's it. I love that, to make our podcast relatable, because sometimes it feels our podcast is not so relatable because we don't have challenges most other people have, and then they think we have zero challenges. But
I'm happy to answer this.
Yeah, but just want to quickly say that challenges are fucking exciting. Think about, there's zero challenges, and then like, and now what? And now what? How should I even grow? How should I expand? How should I become? How should I And now what? If they're like, we want challenges and they're all there for a reason. So look at them, and then they can go away because you look at them. Otherwise, they will never go away. You will keep looping and get. So it's this level where we don't feel resistance, pain, but we get challenges and we're excited about them. Like this one I was speaking about, like I'm excited about not loving you in an unhealthy way. And I love thinking about that and make sure. And
Do you want to say that one in a positive?
I love loving you in a loving, healthy way that feels delicious all the way. And it's this symbiotic frequency where it's mutual, expanding, and it's just pure.
I would say one of my challenges is is coming from so much pain and drama and trauma in my life, and then receiving in a way that it lets it all the way in, the life that I actually want. That might sound like a very not a challenge, but it actually is, like we have so much programming around life has to be this certain way, or life is this certain way. And when you grow up with a lot of trauma and a lot of negativity, we spend a lot of people spend their lives like wanting to get rid of that, but then sometimes that becomes part of their identity. And then they even become coaches on like how to help.
Boob is showing.
Oh no, is it? This happens a lot. Okay, I'm just gonna go like this. They become coaches on like how to help other people get out of their trauma, and it just becomes this thing where it's like a badge of honor to go through all these things. But then what they end up doing is like still sitting with their trauma most of their life, and I want to fully embrace the beautiful life that I have chosen on this timeline and use all the stuff that I've learned through all the things I've been through in a positive way, and also to help others come into their full embodiment. And so between us, like sometimes there's a part of me that's like, can we really, there's a judgment that I have in my head that can you really fully understand me? Because we come from very, very different worlds. And at the same time, I think, our souls are from the same place, but we went through very different timelines on this planet to get to where we are right now. And I know that's a judgment that I have. And it's also a way to avoid letting go of some of my sorrow and some of my sadness, because that's a way in the past that I used to connect with people, is through my trauma, like trauma bonding. I'd be like, I have this pain, you have this pain, now we are together in this pain. And I don't want to do that anymore. I choose a timeline where we can connect in our joy, because that's what I've always wanted since I was little. It's like when I came out, I was this little awake child that was just full of joy and wanted to share that with everyone. And then I literally and emotionally and figuratively got like it beaten out of me. And then now I'm coming back to choosing that in a conscious way and choosing to be my inner child. And this is something that you activate in me a lot. And then there's like this feeling of like, okay, am I really safe? Because when I was a kid, I wanted to do that. I didn't, but I wasn't safe. And I validate that I actually wasn't safe for most of my life to be that fully inner child. And I think a lot of people look at you and they're like, oh, he comes from a good family and he's had a nice life. And they have a lot of judgment because they don't feel safe in their bodies. And so they think that it's not fair, quote unquote, that you had this timeline, even though you've gone through your own stuff and you've gone through your own trials and tribulations. And all of this is everyone's perception they have in their own mind. And what I realize within myself, hanging out with you every single day, and you really are just this pure soul that is full of joy, and you really do take care of me so well, and you always are looking out for me and like loving me, and I do it back for you. There's just like some programming that I have that I'm really releasing, and in order to like fully enjoy it, because it would be so dumb for me to like live this beautiful life and get to this point and then not let it in all the way. And just be like, just like come up with a reason why it won't work, and that's what I've done in the past, because I wasn't ready to let it in all the way, because it's actually more vulnerable to be in joy. Because when you are choosing joy and you're letting it in all the way, it's something that can get taken away it's vulnerable. It's something that you have to create a lot of space in order to feel safe, in order to do. And most people don't know how to do that. And so they'd rather worry about things and they'd rather be in their anxiety. They're choosing that because it feels safer than to put themselves out there and to be authentic and to be their inner child. And I'm grateful that we create these safe bubbles for each other in different ways. Like you definitely create a safe space for me emotionally and physically and all the things. And I do it for you as well, like in different ways. And I think we complement each other a lot. And I know that our souls actually chose to come through different timelines so that we can complement each other now. Because if you went through a really, really traumatic childhood with parents that didn't support you, then we wouldn't be able to help each other with anything, you know. And if I went through a timeline where I hadn't gone through all these experiences, then it probably wouldn't have been as fun to be together because I add spice to everything that we do, you know. And we just have different things that we bring to the table because of the experiences we went through. And I've dated other people who that was my last major relationship with Andy. It was like I dated someone who grew up in the exact same cult as me, had the exact same trauma as me, and we just drowned in it together. Like, because there was no one, when one of us was in our pain body, is what they call it, like when you're overwhelmed in your physical body by emotional pain, the other person could not help them get out because it triggered the other one. Whereas for us, we get triggered by different things. So when I'm in my pain body and I'm like just feeling all the pain, you can be like, you cannot connect with me on that level because you've never experienced it, which is a good thing. And it means that you can host me in it and be like, it's okay. I'm going to bring you back to, you know, your joy. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And like sometimes even like last night we were talking in bed about some things that have happened to me, and you're like, did that really happen to you? And I was like, yeah. And you're just like, I can't even imagine that happening. That makes me so angry that someone did that to you. And I'm like, okay, well, this is my timeline. I honor it. And also, I don't know what else to say, you know, but I also love that you're like, cannot fathom that, because if you could and you were on that level, then I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense, but this is something that I don't even like calling it a challenge because I guess it feels good to let it go, and it feels good to work through it, because I've always wanted this. When I've been in relationships before, I was the one who was like shining my light, and the other person I was like supporting them and helping them feel safe. And with our relationship, this is the first time where someone has more capacity than me to host me and make it so that I feel safe and I can be my inner child. And that's something really special for me. And it's hard to put into words.
You are so good with words. You put it so beautifully in words. I love your channeling state. I could listen to it forever and ever and ever and ever. And I'm always so excited when I see you get in the state, and I'm just being here super cozy and like, yeah, I hope she never stops talking. This was so goals. This was so goals. And I'm so excited for our next MDMA trip, because it feels like then you can really let it in all the way and let all that go, because you know how quote unquote dumb that is. Mm-hmm. Like, he had not this pain, so he don't understand me or isn't on it. Like, what dumb shit is that? Like, we both grew having on the surface different challenges, but in the core it's all the same. It's all the same. It's when you really see that it's all the same in the core, the challenges, and then, yeah, but she's so pretty. She's so pretty, so everyone wants to fuck her. That's a totally different challenge than being quote unquote ugly. And then the pretty one to the ugly one, yeah, for you it's easy to find real friends. It's so easy. And then it's like they're on the surface it's so different. They're both pointing at each other, but in the core it's always the same challenge. So wherever you're born, whatever the circumstances, don't matter. And then it's all you. What do you do? Like, do you see the challenges you took for your timeline? Because in the core we're all coming quote unquote in the same place. And when you tell me anything, I'm like, I can so relate on my challenges that were on the surface completely differently. But we had so the same challenges and grew at the same rate, that we are so mutual. Mm-hmm. And then then it's so great. Then we have both our spices. You're your spice of, wow, this is deep shit. Wow, this is how can, and I'm this pure joyness of, like, I experienced so much joy in my life, so much joy, and I'm like overflowing with that, and I want to and kick people in that, because that's what it always comes back to. What's the point in anything if you don't have fun? What's the fucking point? There is no point. So let's enjoy it. Okay, next thing.
Yeah, next thing on the list.
Okay, it's a confession. At first, about how I feel in my body, I felt like I overdosed a bit on cacao today, and now I'm this and then this gym high, and now I have like this, like I could fall asleep right now, just as a disclaimer. But I feel great in my body, just super zen.
Zen.
Yes. Okay. So if I don't make any sense, you just let me know. Okay. Next thing, a confession.
Confession, go.
About fake comments. That I want to talk about it.
Oh yeah. Go for it.
I want us. We are so real. I want us to stay real. I made a promise to myself when I was dying in the hospital. I was like, all that is coming out of my body, I want it to be real, raw, and authentic. I don't want any other things. I want to be the change I wish to see, and I want to shift in a world where we're all our authentic self. And so keeping it super real. That I read less and less YouTube comments, and then hardly any YouTube comments. I mean, sometimes because you tell me something, or then friends tell me something. Hey, someone wrote that, or someone sends me a screenshot out of a comment. So it's kind of still in my reality, but I don't read them anymore, because on YouTube most people are anonymous, and just it feels like it's so negative often. And then when I started having, already veganism was like, people were hating it. But then when I, like this, talking about awakened stuff, talking about extraterrestrials, about Bashar, about all of that, about mind over matter, like all these things I talk about, like, yeah, where the fuck do depressions come from? Like all of that it's all you. And then people like, how dare you? Like so much hate, so much anger, all their fear in the most. And many Germans, like, they're so intellectual, they're so smart, how they can, and then just this phase of like really doubting myself, but then knowing, hey, this is all, I want to help you. Like this is, don't they see it? That I'm just helping them being there.
How did it feel when they were saying those things to you?
Yeah, first it's so frustrating, because all I want is help everyone, and all the frequencies that are entering my body is from love. Like we can drown in, yeah, you're right, the depression, it's the fault of this, and it's this, and then we're both fucking drowning in the shit, but we have each other. That's the way we connect. Or I get you out of that, but then you're so stuck in that because you're so afraid to change, because because I'm challenging their entire belief system, their entire reality. And if it's true what I'm saying, then they need to change everything. And then it will trigger subconsciously to know. I would get out of the relationships I'm in. I would not do my job anymore. I would be fucking living a happy, fulfilled life. And I don't. So I would change everything. And then I rather hate it and destroy it, that it's not true. Because if it's true, if it's as easy as Ferdi says, then it's as easy for me too, and then they just try to destroy it, try to debunk it, but then I got to this point where I fucking know, I know my higher self is speaking to me, and I know what I'm saying is coming through, and this is the universal message, and people who get it, they get it, and people who don't, they don't, and then there is not a shadow of doubt in me anymore, and then it didn't get to me, it didn't affect me, but it occupied my head, that. Because my head still tries to comprehend, like, where does this come from? Because I want to help everyone. And then, okay, I don't read it anymore. But then I just knew the frequencies under, like, I see our podcast and all of that. I see that as the purest thing. I'm so proud of our podcast. I'm so protective. Like, the love there, it's like so powerful. And then knowing, without reading it, that there are frequencies in comments that are, ugh. So then I just wanted to put frequencies underneath that are balancing that, just like that are like that just when people listen to something and then they're like, wow, this feels so good, then they read only hate comments. Yeah, this is probably bullshit. And then but then I don't want to do that anymore. And I just did it. I basically started doing it when you came into my life because I wanted to protect you, because you on my podcast and your podcast, I'm like, this is the purest thing. How could a person? And then I just wanted to counter the frequency. Just before anyone else wrote a comment, I had this 5-6 accounts and I was just putting in nice frequencies.
Without telling me.
Without telling you. Yeah. And just
Which
nice
really
frequencies.
made me upset.
Exactly. And I love that we talk about everything immediately, and I don't want to do it anymore because you say it, and I agree. So say it.
Well, basically, I woke up one day and I was like looking at YouTube. Okay, people need to know that I grew up in a cult where I was not allowed to watch TV. And so, of course, I still watch TV or movies, but I watch very specific ones, that are recommended. Or it's not. I have never, ever been someone who watches YouTube. I've never watched YouTube. Like, I go on there when someone recommends a video. I'm not like a person who like opens YouTube and watches it for X amount of time per day. Like, never. So for me, YouTube land is very new. And I also don't really understand why people are hating. And I'm just like very confused why they have so much hate in them and they want to share that. But I've always just been myself, and so like on Instagram when I'm sharing stuff and people are commenting, I always do my best to like reply and just be myself and send a lot of positivity back. And so on YouTube, I got, like, wow, there's these nice comments and stuff like that. And there were a lot of nice comments outside of the ones that you posted that were fake, which I didn't know. And then someone wrote someone wrote on one of, I think it was our vlog, which was like the first vlog that we made together. And it was like, Faraday, why would you post fake comments? This is so misleading or whatever. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, that person is correct. And then I came and talked to you about it. I was like, why would you do that? Like, I don't care what people say, but I want to know that whatever people are saying on there, that it's, like what you say that Joe Rogan says is like post and drop, which basically is like we share our content and our vibration with the world, and then they can choose whatever they want to do with it. But I don't care what they do with it. And yes, if we are alone in that and like it's just one of us sharing, this is why it's hard to be our authentic self in the world, because when it is alone and then so many people don't get it or they're hating on you, that's really hard to face that alone as like an authentic human being. But because we are doing it together now, I don't care if one person listens or a million, like we share our vibration and then we go play, it doesn't really matter to me what people say. I just want to make sure that I feel good all the way through in the way I'm sharing it and what I'm doing. So I came at you kind of upset because I was like, the way that I share myself online, like being a community leader around the world for many years and having I've had my own situation with people who are haters and all this stuff, but I've always just faced it very head on and very authentically. And now it's the first time where, and like all of my past partners were not social media people. Like I was always the one that was like, I have it's YouTube, or I'm sharing my life with people. And my past partners were always like, I want privacy. So this is the first time that I'm dating someone who's also equally like, yeah, let's put this out in the world. And I love that. But then it was the first time where I was like, we need to sit down and talk about how we are going to share ourselves publicly on social media, because I felt that you did something without asking me, which is like crossing my boundaries. But then we hadn't ever had a conversation about it. And then I think you got just really overwhelmed because you were like wanting to protect me and like protect me from the hate. And then also I think you were saying that some of this, you might even think it's your brother, which is a whole other thing, because I've never met your brother. I don't know your relationship with your brother. He sounds like someone who loves you very much and is also, has a lot of his own problems, because if he's really creating a fake account to write on you like all these terrible messages, then that's on him, And I have my own family with their own shit that they try and project onto me. So I fully support you, and I understand what it feels like to have a family member who's doing that to you, and all you want to do is love them and have them support you, and you support them. It hurts so much, especially when all we want to do is bring positivity into the world. And at the same time, I don't want to lower myself to those games. Like I want to be rising above that and be my authentic self all the way and be like, yeah, I'll put it out in the world, and the people who get it will get it, and everyone else can kind of just keep creating their own drama. Like, it's not my problem if they keep doing that. But then also, so what we ended up doing was disenabling the comments, like turning them off, and then choosing within ourselves to just not look at comments anymore on YouTube. I'm very confused about this, because for me, like, I have a big Facebook following, and I was showing you last night, like, I always post these things on my Facebook feed that help people connect to each other. Like, what are you grateful for today? Or, you know, what's something that's like a resource for you in order to connect to your body more? And like these things, and people will post these things, and it's not anything that I need to reply to. It's just like something to kind of activate the community to get them talking. And then everyone else starts commenting on each other's, and it creates more connection, and people start, you know, it's just it feels good, and it creates more connection. And I was like, why can't we do this on YouTube, where we share a video, and at the end of the video, it's like, okay, everyone, in the comments, we invite you to share something you're really grateful for today.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about that. Everything you said, I love it. Amen, amen, amen. I do social media for a long time, and when I did daily vlogs with my vegan savages, I so encouraged, and they were like getting in the habits of commenting daily and multiple comments daily, and we had the discussion. But then there were always people on a different frequency just adding that to this, and I always felt bitter. And then you have to keep, and then other people talk to them, and then it's always, this doesn't feel good in my body at all. I don't want that. And so that's why I stopped encouraging YouTube comments, and I said, like, vegan savages, write me a DM on Instagram. And then I said in so many German podcasts, I'm not reading YouTube comments anymore. So now it's under my videos, this thing, my vegan savages know I'm not reading YouTube comments anymore. So they write me DMs, and what you put out is what you get back. I put this frequency out, my DMs daily. I'm so overwhelmed by this love. And like you see it too, like you show me so many messages where, like, what the fuck? This is so our frequency. This is so touching. Like in Berlin, I get letters every week, like many letters, many pages of their story, how my podcast changed their life. Like like, Ferdi, I was listening to this one episode about how to truly follow your excitement 5 times. And my parents keep telling me to do this, and then I started this, and it feels so good, and they support it now, and I'm so happy. Like, this life-changing shit, you know? This is what I want to get. And then under YouTube, it's kind of only left the people who hate, and then it's this, you know? And this is fine for me. I just post and drop. I don't want to see it, and I don't want to, like, create this community. Like, also WhatsApp group. Like, in Berlin, yeah, the meetups, I invite everyone, and there are just people in it that are entering, that are on a totally different frequency, and they come, like, and then it's just, and now I just kick them out. I'm just like, I'm tired of that. So I don't even want to create that. I'm like, peace out, post and drop. And that's why DMs, I can, like, okay, different frequency, like, I don't feel at all, general folder, I never see him or her again. Like, who do you think you can just be my reality? Like, if you have a problem with me, call me. But if you don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me. Like, who do you think you are to, I listen to your podcast, so I tell you what to do because I'm part of you, and you owe me, and blah, blah, blah. Like, often people, it strikes me that, yeah. So over the years, I just got tired of it, because they really think I owe them, and I need to respond to them. Like, Ferdi, how can I get to Kopank? Like, they think I'm Google and doing everything for them. I urgently need to talk to you in person. I'm like, general folder, general folder. And that's why, about the fake comments. So this is so not me, but in the past, you know, for example, Philip, we did a podcast about open relationships, and this podcast got so viral, and hundreds of hate comments against Philip, and he was so sad. And then seeing my ex-girlfriend Melina, like, in the hospital, so much hate, and she was so sad about it. It so got to her. Like, she is not her authentic self.
Wait, about you being in the hospital, or she was in the hospital?
No, about me being in the hospital, and then they're making assumption, because I broke up, but I didn't communicate it, and they were like, how could you let him down in the hospital? How could you leave him this state?
They thought she left you when
yeah,
you
and just making assumptions. And then it's so, like, seeing how it affects them, I wanted to, I just want to love, I want to protect. And then I once in the past had that I created fake comments for a little bit, and I was like, what am I doing? This feels so stupid, so I stopped. And then when us happened, I just saw this, how could someone, like, you are the most purest loving thing I so want to protect, like protecting you is my highest excitement. And then it just came, like, I didn't self-reflected it a lot. I was just in the hustle flow and of doing that because it's so easy to, and then I was just writing some nice frequencies under it to like put it out. But then you're so right. And that's why you came to me. I'm like, yeah, we never talked about it, and that doesn't justify that I just do it, because we are a team now, and how we want to be publicly and move forward and all these things, we communicate it as a team. We always check, and of course in many things we can read each other's mind that are straightforward, but I always check, like when I make a thumbnail for you, I always ask, like is this nice, and then that's why I deleted them and I stopped now, and we keep it real, and I even that real that we talk about it now on the podcast, because then ours, let's talk about in the podcast, because I want to be real as fuck, and I want people to learn from us and learn from our quote unquote mistakes, that we learn as well, and keeping it real, and invite everyone to keep it real, and not, oh no, I act like I didn't do that and act perfect. No, we're keeping it real.
I just want to say that you do protect me in so many ways, and I'm really grateful for it. And also, I am completely my authentic self. This is one thing I said to you that morning when I came to speak to you. I was like, comments don't bother me. Like, it doesn't get in, because I just look at them like, wow, I feel really bad for them that they think of themselves. Everyone's whatever they express externally is reflecting their internal reality. So if they're putting that much hate in the world, I'm like, I want to hug them. Are they okay?
And this is the first person I meet who's on that level, because I see so many of my friends crumbling under hate, doubting themselves, distancing themselves from me, don't want to create content with me anymore. Can I quickly say what Bashar says about hate? Because I am so thankful that I got so much hate, and from like the people I love the most, I look up the most, like my brother, like being the biggest hater, and truly getting to a point where it zero affects me. There's really no shadow of a doubt what Bashar says about it, and how I understand it, and now for a long time fully embody it, is that hate, it has nothing to do with you unless you believe in it. Because if someone hates you and you have just the slightest urge to, I want to make a statement about it, this is wrong, I want to justify myself, then there is a portion of you that believes what they're saying, and you want to put it right and explain yourself. But if you know yourself, then you know what image they paint of you is not you. It's a different person. It's not. I know it fairly. I know myself, and what someone paints a picture of, this is not me, and there's not the slightest urge of justifying myself, because this is not me. Like Bashar likes to use this analogy. You walk in the street and someone is like, your pink jacket, it's so ugly, how could you wear something like that? And you look down and you don't wear a pink jacket. You would be like, what is he talking about? And this person is delusional, what's his problem? And just keep walking, like this person is crazy. And this is how hate is for me now, that I know myself, I don't doubt myself. But you only get to this point if you be awake, embodied, be your authentic self, your true natural self, because then you know yourself. Because otherwise, like, yeah, maybe this person is right, I need to justify, like you have this urge, like I know I'm right, but if you know who you are, you know that is not you. And then ask yourself, do you want to remain in this frequency of constantly justifying yourself and lowering your frequency, like getting tracked down, or you want to stay up here and uplift others by setting this example, like this frequency is possible all the time. And for me it was a long journey, but then seeing like how Philip like truly affected him, and then being so self-conscious and insecure, I want to protect my, like, give me all the hate, give me all the juice, like it doesn't affect me, but like you are new to that, and I want to protect you, but knowing that you are your authentic self.
But I'm new to it maybe from online people, but I've had it in person for early part of my life from my family and my religion. So for me, that's like the hardest one to get through. Everyone else is, I'm just looking at them like, Yeah, no, that's not gonna affect me.
So baby, we're gonna dab on those haters. You don't like the saying? I love the saying. Dabbing on those haters.
I'm always making fun of him for saying dab because what are we, 15 years old boys?
Babe, we are little dolphins, yeah. Can you show me your best dab? Like if there's a hater, show me your dab. Maybe like this. You can do it left and right. Dabbing
Do you
on
want
those.
to talk about anything else?
How did you like the saying I said? I really think it's super cool. I
What?
said earlier. You went like, whoa. Okay, say it again. If you have a problem with me, call me. And if you don't have my number, then you don't
Know me well enough.
have to have a problem with me.
Yeah. I really like that. Did you make that up?
I read it somewhere.
Maybe.
Quote unknown from. Yeah, I mean, we have endless things on the list. You want to talk about another thing?
What are other things on the list? Let me see.
Okay, Brittnee, why do you use filters?
Oh, okay. So Instagram filters. I've had multiple people ask me, why do you put Instagram filters on? We want to see you. You're so beautiful the way you are. And I'm like, I know I'm beautiful the way I am. And it's also fun sometimes to put filters on. It's like when you are your authentic self, I'm just myself all the time. But sometimes, like, if you've seen this in the video, you can see that I have jewels on my face. And it's fun. I love it so much. And why would I not do things that are fun? And for me, filters are like fun. If someone is wearing a face full of makeup, you wouldn't be like, take that makeup off. You're beautiful just the way you are. And for me, I don't normally wear makeup. Like today I have a little bit of eyeshadow on, but it's again because it's fun. It's not because I'm like, I'm ugly, I need to cover myself up. It's like, this is fun. I used to be a model. I used to like work in the fashion industry, and I think it's really fun to try different things. And for me, filters is that. It's just like playing. So that's my thing with filters. I think it's just the idea of like, are you coming at it from a abundance perspective, or are you putting this filter on because you think you don't look beautiful and you're trying to cover up? And for me, it's definitely coming from abundance, and I'm just fucking around and having fun.
You cannot fake a frequency. You cannot. I see so many people trying to, I'm so real, I don't use filters, and you see they fucking hate themselves because you can feel it. It's the frequency. And I see then people get in this habit of fronting what others do because they want to be authentic so badly, and then I stopped using filters and I do this now and then I'm authentic, right? But they don't understand how it actually. That's why go back to our podcast, how to be your authentic self. Study the formula, how to follow your highest excitement, because your higher mind is guiding you by the feeling of excitement. This is your life theme. This is your destiny. This is you. This is your true natural self. This is what you picked from your free will as your higher self in spirit to come here physically, and then being guided. This is you. Follow your highest excitement. This is when you really get the formula and follow. The more you follow it, the more you become your true, natural, authentic self. And then you can dab on all these surface things like, oh, she's doing that, and then you can just see through everything. And you see she is awake, embodied. She's her authentic self. No matter what filter, no matter what clothes, no matter if she's naked or whatever, you cannot fake a frequency. So, people, take a deep breath. Breathing in that good Asprana, and eat a piece of mango and smile.
One last thing I'd love to share with people is download that came to me. I want to share what came to me when we did microdosed the other day at the waterfall. And it comes, like when I did DMT for the first time, the download I got was that consciousness wants to evolve, and we get to choose whether it's through pain or pleasure in these 3D bodies. And most people have chosen the timeline of pain because as humans and as humanity, as like a global consciousness, we have explored the separation timeline of being separate from ourselves and from our bodies for many, many thousands of years. But now we're coming into a new timeline of choosing to grow consciousness through connection and through pleasure and all of these things.
I blazed a pillow, but I thought it's not going to fall backwards.
The camera just turned off and fell backwards.
But yeah, being so on point, I placed a pillow underneath.
You did.
But I didn't place it correctly. So only half on point. Just kidding. Okay, keep talking because
what
I
did
really want you to talk
What
about
did I
this.
say at the waterfall? I said it and
Okay.
it was made so much sense when I said
Here's how I butcher it now,
Okay.
and then you say it beautifully, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Consciousness wants to evolve, and in order to do that, because it's all that is all that is, but it wants to experience itself. It wants to experience the beauty of all that is. So what it does, it creates the illusion of separation. Because how can you know you exist if there's no each other? You don't know you exist. If you're all that is, you don't know that you even exist. So we create the illusion of separation to have each other and then be the observer and see how things evolve. Consciousness wants to evolve. Like we have the iPhone 14 Pro now, and it's not like, oh, this is really good. Let's stop now. This I mean, what it's perfect. No, we constantly we want consciousness. It's so in us. We wanna evolve. We wanna grow. We wanna expand. It's always about becoming. So we create all these illusions of separation to learn it from a new angle, like forget to remember from a new point of view, and then it gets to this point like where we at. How can we be so awake and embodied and not do this reset of okay, now we're in spirit and forget again, but continue evolving in a physical body that it's because it's getting on this point. Like before I met you, I was close to being peace out. That I was so awake. Like my trips, I chilled in different timelines every night when I was streaming. I was fully awake. I was there. In DMT trips, I wasn't in this reality. I was in realities that are as real as this, but 10 times realer, like in spirit, where it's so much, quote unquote, nicer because it felt more like home than anything. This planet for me is not home. The world we're shifting in, this is home. I have this longing for it. And then I'm there. I'm like, why should I linger here? And this is then peace out. This is my life. All death is suicide. But no, I wanna bring heaven down on this timeline, but yeah, we're physical beings. How can we evolve even more in a way that feels comfortable in our body? Because many of the DMT trips were not comfortable in my body because it was such a high frequency. That's why I love you saying, give me the highest frequency that feels good in my body, because I want all the magic's gonna happen. First contact, UFO's gonna land. We're gonna become part of the Interstellar Alliance. We clean up our Earth. We discover all these things like magic, free energy, AI, but I want it all in a way that feels good in my body. What's the point otherwise if I don't enjoy it? But I wanna experience in this timeline with you. Now it became so precious because you are here. Now I want it in this timeline. I want to pull it in here in a way that feels comfortable, and it doesn't stop. And it's at a point where it's like, whoa, how can we continue at kind of this rate, exploring, evolving consciousness in physical beings and not been there, done that. Let's start over again. So this was really butchered. So no, yeah.
I liked it. So the way I would explain it is like in the big cosmos of consciousness, we are all one together. But if you ever done DMT and you are hitting this point where you are at that awareness of everything everywhere all at once, it's super overwhelming because anytime you think of something, it's already there. There's no way to really evolve in that because everything you think of immediately happens.
No time delay.
There's no time delay. It just happens. And then it kind of can feel like overwhelming, almost to the point where you're like, and imagine like feeling nauseous because everything is just, and then because consciousness cannot evolve in that way when everything is in one big conglomerate, like pool of jelly, like of like consciousness, like we're all together, everything is together. We have chosen to separate and come into these 3D bodies and choose to forget. And then most of the people on these timelines never actually wake up to that connectedness. They just go through these timelines and maybe they grow consciousness 1 tiny millisecond of an inch just by discovering something randomly through their unconscious their not awakeness of being aware to this bigger reality. And then there's people like us who woke up to the fact, but there's a lot of people I know who are quote unquote awake to the bigger reality that we are all one in the bigger consciousness, but they haven't fully come into their bodies. And for me, the bigger opportunity here is to be awake and then to pull as much energy as we can of our spirit into these 3D bodies. And that's why I'm so into being embodied and being in our bodies, because when we do that, it's almost like we are pulling as much of the bigger all that is and consciousness into our bodies, and therefore we're able to observe with a higher frequency and higher vibration, higher rate of observation, and therefore growth to whatever we're doing. But to hold that awareness and keep it in our bodies and stay grounded and not like fucking go off into spirit, you know, that is, like, we talk about this all the time. I don't know anyone else like us, especially two people
Yes.
who are like this.
I'm so happy I have you in my life, babe.
I know, because so many people are like, they almost want to forget because it's too much energy going through their bodies. And so then they go and they do something to lower their frequency, or they're around people who are draining their frequency. And then when we did a little microdose of DMT the other day, it really came to me, like I was at the waterfall and I was like, okay, there's like 3 levels of ways that you can take DMT. Because when you do DMT, if you've never done it, this is what happens. You blast off and your spirit goes into the all that is. For most people, they call this an ego death, because literally most of the time that people do this, they lose their identity. They completely give themselves back to all that is. And when they come back, they actually imagine a computer program doing a hard reset where you're like, okay, I remember who I was, but I'm not connected to that old person. So then you can come back into your body and have almost like a new version of consciousness in the same timeline. Then there's people, so that's level 1, in my opinion. That's most people who are like, I had a blast off experience. I died. I came back. And then there's people like Faraday and I who, and I think there are more of us that can do this, but there's people like us specifically where you have gone very far into the DMT world as this mental construct of your own personality and kept your identity and like gone out there. But it's very hard, and I consider it gambling, because at any moment you might not come back as yourself, or you might not come back into this body. And then I have had less DMT experiences than you, but I have blasted off and stayed my authentic personality within myself and like been in the DMT world. And it was so much fucking energy going through and so much happening. And I'm like, how have you done this so many times and still come back every time? And then for me, there's the 3rd level of, this is what I did. I had my hands on Afro, my dog. And I said to DMT, I choose to experience this as Brittnee in my body. And I kept my eyes open. We were at the waterfall and I looked out at nature. And I stayed awake and in my body through the whole DMT experience. And then, you know, consciousness was like, okay, she's staying there and she's holding this high frequency. Let's show her more things. And like the trees were doing crazy things and portals were opening. And like I was seeing like so many timelines. And I was just like honoring all of it and just being really grateful for it and giving it like this really good energy. And then it was just becoming more and more beautiful, and like more energy was going through my body. And I was like, wow, this is what it feels like to be a god. Like this is us being completely master creators. Because I was, at one point I was like, I want it to rain. And then like the rain just went like sideways in that exact moment and started pouring on us. But we were underneath this cute little tree house, so we were fine. And I just looked over at you and I was like, oh my God, like, my trip was crazy. And then I was just realizing how much, when you're able to stay awake and in your body and stay separate and hold this awareness that we actually are all one and all connected. I don't know where it's going, but it feels like for me the next phase of my awareness and my awakeness of like what to do with that now.
Wow. Yes. Yes. So much to say about that.
It's a lot. I don't even know what to do with it. It's just like, okay, this is where I'm at now.
It's that why most people, they don't know how to interact with us, and they're just, like hate, for example, I get from other quote unquote spiritual people. They're just saying, yeah, Ferdi, you just quote Bashar, you just speak what Bashar says, and you just and I'm like, if people would have experienced what I would have experienced, they would be like, what the fuck? They would question everything. They would stop the bullshit they are doing. If I could conserve some of my DMT trips in a Disney ride, where you can go on this Disney ride, you stay in line and you experience it, the line would be miles long, because people experience it and be like, dude, this is changing everything. Because when you're, as your physical mind in spirit, and DMT is DMT is the most natural substance we produce when we sleep every single night. The most between 3 and 4 a.m. in the morning, and we produce a lot when we're born and when we die. And DMT is dreaming, but you are awake. And I had so many DMT trips where I am in different timelines and I'm fully there and I'm communicating. I build relationship to so many beings. They're welcoming. They're showing me endless things. Like I saw you coming. I chilled so much with your higher self before I even knew you. I was so in love with you. That's why I went in so often, because I wanted to see you. And you were there in I don't know, 40 trips at least. Like often vaguely, but 40 trips at least dominant. Like you were welcoming me back. And we are going on adventure. You were showing me mostly love, mostly unconditional love. I was only my heart, and it was so. I'm like, what the fuck? And we always had sex, and I was always so playful. And you were showing me the finger a lot when I was freaking out, because I'm like I freaked out because it's being in spirit is so insane. And then you show me the finger because so what, Ferdi? Get used to magic. Stop freaking out. This is then what am I gonna do? I come out of this trip, I freak out in a nice way, but then I brush my teeth and go to bed because but I cannot not experience that. And I have such a strong connection to source. And many people, you're just quoting Bashar, all I want and it's if you're German being savage, I have an entire episode where I just talk a lot about my DMT trips, what I've experienced. And and now my excitement is because before you happened, I wasn't attached to this reality. You know, I didn't care if I come back because I saw it all. I see structure of existence. I know I'm an indestructible soul, and there is no dying. And seeing what else is out there, I'm like, this timeline is alright, but there is fucking. But now this is the most epic timeline, because how we came together as our authentic selves in the transformational age is like the coolest superhero movie. It's the coolest superhero movie. The villain is our fear-based society. We are the superheroes. We're gonna transform it, and our superpower is unconditional love. And as a team, it is so rock strong, and this is so cool. And now I don't want to blast off because I want to come back here. And I'm not saying I will never blast off, no, but right now I'm excited to stay, my physical mind stay here and just maybe get that frequency, like mini dosing, micro dosing it, and playing with that, because it's all us. Like now we're tripping daily because we see through the structure of existence, we see this is the physical reality dream. We're dreaming right now. And we can recreate it on our own. And I want to stay here and keep evolving conscious at this level. This level, it's more important than ever to stay grounded. Because if you want to explore the cosmos, you gotta stay grounded. And that's why, it's like, it was before like gambling, but I had not so much to lose.
Also because you didn't care about coming back.
Yeah. As I said, I didn't have so much to lose, but now I have everything to lose. So I want to stay here, and this is the beauty, getting so far, and then even further and further while grounded, while it feels good in your body, and being the pioneers of like, okay, there's no one we can look at. There's not, these people, they did it like we did, and then no, there's no one. And this is nice. This is so nice. Yeah, the discovery, the unknown. And as a team, you know? So, fuck yeah. Meow. Thanks. This was amazing. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think I'm good.
Yes, I'm good too. This was great. I was so, after the gym when you usually take a nap, but talking, and that's our entire life.
Yeah. This is pretty much.
This is just time. We press on, but not okay. Now we record a podcast. This is just us talking.
Yeah.
And just we have this list. We talk about many things like, this is nice. Let's talk about that, because we want people. We want to take them all along on the discovery, and we want to keep it real. So when we figured it out with the comments, I was like, I write it down. Let's talk about that. And there are many more things on the list, so stay tuned. Brittnee and I, tomorrow we're going to go on a road trip. We are super excited to take you along, record a lot of podcasts, vlogs, invite you in that frequency, the juicy frequency where the juices can flow in your body like so. Yummy tasting. And if you want to order anything at Rocker Nutrition, when you live in Germany, Austria, or Switzerland, vegan supplements, then use the code Ferdi, my inner child, and save 10%. And yeah, I think I'm gonna add a Bashar nugget now. I said it last time, but I forgot. So let's see. Flow state. And follow my love, follow Brittnee Bond, her podcast. When she wakes up, records episode first thing in the morning. She's in this she's always in the challenging state, but then wow. The last episode about what was it about?
What, the one on creativity?
Yes. Wow.
I don't think I've even released that one.
Yeah.
Probably by the time this one comes out, that will be out.
Yes. Speaking about finding your authentic self, what the fuck does that even mean? Or listen, how she puts it in word that it's easy to understand. Because it's richly complex, but fundamentally simple. And Brittnee, and in this nice, sexy, I'm just so in love. I'm so in love. Okay.
I love you too.
Thanks for listening. Until next time. Peace out.